those that don't know, which I assume most of you do that are tuning in, I support Hereford. Obviously, they're not a league team anymore. But just a shit show today. Absolute shit show. We lost 2-0 to Brackley, which is fair enough. They're a very good side. We had 2 players sent off, one for kicking out and one for headbutt. I am so furious. But nevertheless, let's get on to why we're here, which is the League 1 and 2 review. So a brilliant 3 points for Peterborough United. They have gone top, and that's a really good 3 points. And they really needed that win. They're starting to look good. I really did think that he'd do well there. Steve Evans is a bit of a not nice person. Let's just leave it like that. There was a time where he was at Bradford with Crawley, and he decided to start showing people his genitals. So that's the kind of person we're dealing with. But as a football manager, you can't fault him. And a really good win. They went 2-0 up, but to credit to Southend, they got it back to 2-2. But Ivan Toney scoring the winning goal there. 2 goals from Matt Godden. He continues his great start to the season. That leaves Southend in 15th place. And that leaves Peterborough top of the league. That's his 7th goal already. Such a brilliant start for the season. They lost Jack Marriott, but him and Cummings have been absolutely brilliant. Both of them have caused problems, and they look really good. They've lost him and they haven't missed a beat. Brilliant signings by Steve Evans. So let's go from the top. We'll go with Bristol Rovers and Plymouth. So Plymouth have had a terrible start. I'm sure their fans won't mind me saying that because it's the truth. But they got a draw that they probably needed. They'd lost the last 2 by 8-1, altogether. They really needed that point. Bristol Rovers are also struggling. They've got 5 points, 1 win, 2 draws and 4 defeats. Plymouth, they're still bottom of the league. 3 draws, 4 defeats and no wins. I thought they'd do really well. Troubling times for Derek. I don't know why I have a dog. Troubling times for Derek Adams. Next we go to Accrington Stanley. So Accrington Stanley, obviously, they are punching above their weight big time. What Andy Holt has achieved, along with obviously John Coleman, and they've had Paul Cook, they've had Liam Richardson, I think he's took over. What they have achieved at that club is absolutely fantastic. They came up in 2006, along with Hereford. They finished champions. They've consolidated for 12 seasons. They had 1 season where they finished in the playoffs. They just missed out on the final day. Bristol Rovers tipped them to that 3rd playoff spot, promotion spot, and they lost in the playoffs to Wimbledon, who won the playoffs. So yeah, this draw that puts them in 10th. They're a 5th of the way there. They're a 5th of the way to the 50 points that usually guarantees survival. They're a 5th of the way there. And that is really important. Brighton Albion, they've had a struggling start. 2 wins, 1 draw, 4 defeats. I thought they'd struggle. I thought they'd be a bit higher. But I didn't expect them to be, as doing well in the playoffs or whatever. Another thing, right? If any of you watched Gillette Soccer Saturday today, Jimmy Hasselbank, I think he might have just claimed world's worst pundit. Absolutely awful. He seems a relatively nice guy, but Jesus Christ, that was painful. He's done it brilliantly in management with where was he? He did brilliantly with Burton, not so good with QPR and Northampton. Next we go to 2 sides who have had an amazing start to the season in Barnsley and Walsall. This finished 1 apiece. Adeboyo, I think that's how it's pronounced, and opened the scoring after 55 minutes. But Andy Cook scored in the 88th minute. A smashing point that for them. That's what they really needed. That continues their unbeaten run. 4 wins, 3 draws and 0 defeats. Barnsley, they're going to be up there at the end of the season, and they're right there with them. I thought Walsall would struggle, and I am apologising to every single Walsall fan on the planet with my predictions. I thought they would really struggle, but Andy Cook has stepped up. He's come from non-league. And he has done exceptionally well. I just realised I'm on the preview. That's better. I need to move myself though. There we are. Is that okay? No, that's what I do. I think that is okay. Right, that's not good at all. Sorry, people must think I'm nuts. That's what happens when you have Asperger's. Right. So next we have Blackpool. What a game this was. Blackpool and Bradford. Bradford were 2 up just over an hour. 2 second half goals, one from Owen Doyle and one from Jack Payne. And it looked like they were going to easily get all their 3 points. The first point out of Hopkins, their new manager. But Jay Spearing led the comeback. A 84th minute penalty. He converted. And then he scored again after 88 minutes. I think this was a rebounded penalty, I could be wrong. And then Curtis Tilt scored the winner. So 3 goals in 6 minutes for Blackpool to get their win. What a win that was. Blackpool, they really needed that as their second win. They go up into 9th place after the troubles with Gary Boyer leaving. Now they have a couple of wins under their belt, and that's really important. That's a really good win, especially coming back. Bradford are now in 19th place. No one in the bottom, so many won. You have to go all the way up into now 12th with AFC Wimbledon, who we will get on to. Next we have Charlton and Wycombe. Another brilliant game played here. Lee Bowyer had a really important bit of news. He was confirmed as the new manager at Charlton. It boggles my mind a little bit that this situation come out in the first place. Blokes takes over, finishes in the playoffs. Then they lose to Shrewsbury, who finished third, which is fair enough. And then he just continues as caretaker. I mean, what the fuck is that about? I know the bloke's nuts, old Roland, but Jesus Christ. So Wycombe took the lead after 7 minutes, but just over half an hour, John Batty scoring the equaliser. They then went 2 and 3-1 up through Lyle Taylor, a great free acquisition from AFC Wimbledon, and Sarr, before Paris Cohen Hall scored a late consolation. But they held on for all 3 points. Charlton, that leaves them just outside the playoffs on 11 points. So yeah, decent start. Their aim would be, playoffs at least, and they're sniffing around there. Wycombe, let's just touch on them. So they're on 6 points. They're in 18th place. Their aim is to simply stay up, and I think he's done well. I think he's done a brilliant job if they achieve that. Very similar to Accrington. Their aim is to stay up. There's nothing wrong with having an aim of staying up. That should be your first goal when you come out of any league, unless you're a situation like Hereford had where they got demoted and then liquidated. Then you should be aiming for back to back, but which we did. Actually did 3. Anyway, Gillingham and AFC Wimbledon got this right on the Super 6. Joe Pigott with the only goal of the game after 53 minutes. Gillingham. They're in 14th place. I expect them to really struggle, but they're doing, well. Obviously, these things will take into, we'll see how things develop. Wimbledon are about there once again. I think their aim is to probably finish a bit higher than last season. They just escaped, but I think mid-table would be a really good finish for AFC Wimbledon. There was talk of Notts County sniffing about on Neil Ardley, but he's obviously remained loyal to the team that he has been so loyal to. So yeah, Doncaster and Luton. Matty Blair, God, he seems to have been about for ages. He scored after 6 minutes, but Elliot Lee scored just before half time to give them a 1-1 draw at half time. Whiteman scored just after half time to restore the lead, and that's how it finished. So Doncaster win again. That puts them just outside the playoffs on 7 points, 3 wins, 3 draws, and just that 1 defeat. Not too bad, not so bad. I expect them to struggle, Grant McCann, but he's done really, really well, and he is showing, why he was right to have another go. The comments that Peterborough, I think it was a manager, or certainly someone said that he's maybe not cut out for management. But it's good to see him doing well, and that's really, really important. I think that some people aren't cut out for management, but if you believe you are, then that's you should keep going. You shouldn't listen to people. Next we go to my birth club, Shrewsbury Town. So I was born in Shrewsbury. They played Portsmouth and got a brilliant penalty. Doherty scoring after 75 minutes, and it looked like all 3 points would be heading to Shrewsbury. Their first 3 points under John Askey, but Brett Pittman right at the end scoring a penalty, really, really tough on them. But 2 draws. They've had 4 draws out of the last 5. They're getting there. They're still in the relegation zone. There are 4 points, but they're getting there. They're not too far away from a victory. I'm just having a look who they have next week. Southend at home. That's a big game. I think they might get something from that. I think they'll win that one. But they're getting there. They just need to convert draws into wins. But Portsmouth, they'll be up there at the end of the season. So that was a really, really good point, especially away from home. Who do we have next? What a game this was. Scunthorpe versus Rochdale. This finished 3-3. Goals from Novak, Cole Clough and Goods gave him a 3-1 lead, with Rathbone scoring that other goal, and then Rathbone scored again, and Gillam right at the end, 83 minutes, sealed the draw. So being 3-1 down to getting a draw is okay. Scunthorpe haven't had the best start to life. They've already sacked their manager, Nicky Dawes. He's already gone, and they've only had 1 win so far this season. They should have seen that out, but they didn't. Rochdale, that puts them into a 13th, 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 defeats. 10 goals scored, but 16 goals conceded. That's equal with Scunthorpe, who played out that 3-3. So that's really concerning. 16 goals shipped already, in 7 games is over 2 a game. That's not good. That's not good at all. Not good at all. And hopefully that needs to stop, or they will always be in danger. They will always be in danger of, if you have a bad goal difference, then you're always in danger. Obviously, -6 and -7 is not good. Oxford's on -8 and Plymouth are on -9. To win games, you first. Especially when I always think when a new manager comes in, first off, you've got to try and tighten things up. And they need to tighten things up. You can't just keep relying on your goals to get you out of games. Next, we have another thriller. Really, really good games. You had 1, 2, 3, 4 games with over 5 goals. That's incredible in League One. Wait a minute, I've already covered that one. Next, we have Sunderland and Fleetwood. Probably game of the day between 2 of the playoff sides. Paddy Madden gave him the lead, which was great, as Hasselbank, the right winger, crossed in and he headed it in. Then Madger, the young lad from Sunderland, scored 7 minutes before half time, and it ended 1-1. Could have gone either way, but a really good point for Fleetwood. Since their opening day defeat, they've had 3 wins and 3 draws and are unbeaten in their last 6. So really, really good start by Fleetwood Town. Sunderland, they're still unbeaten in their 7 games, 4 wins, 3 draws, 0 defeats. The same record is held with Barnsley and Walsall. So 3 sides going very well there. So that's League One finished. So Peterborough are top, 19 points out of 21. Really, really good start. 6 wins, 1 draw, 0 defeats. 19 goals scored as well. Absolutely exceptional. Next we have Portsmouth, who are on 17 points. The playoffs is Barnsley, Sunderland and Walsall. They're all on 15 points. And then Fleetwood Town are on 12. Just outside we have Doncaster, Charlton and Blackpool. At the bottom, we have Plymouth on 3 points. Oxford, Shrewsbury, and Coventry make up the other bottom 3. And then just outside, we have Bristol City, Bradford, and Wycombe Wanderers. Into League 2 we go. This one will hopefully be quick. My girlfriend's on the way home, so hopefully she'll be a while. So we'll start off with Bury. Bury won 4-0 against Grimsby. Michael Jolly's Grimsby suffer another defeat. They got hammered on the opening day 4-1 at home, and now they get hammered at Bury. Mayor Ameson, Chris Dagnall, and Mayor again. 2 goals from Mayor, so really, really good performance that by Bury. Bury are currently in 13th place, so worrying times really. Grimsby, they're 21st. They've had just a 1 win at Macclesfield, who haven't won yet. Two winless sides in League 2. Next we go to Carlisle and Cambridge. Carlisle going to Cambridge and getting the win. Bennett equalised after Brown gave Cambridge the lead, and then Nadeson, I'm going to pronounce it. I hope that's right. He scored after 69 minutes and gave them a 2-1 lead. So they were 1-0 down. They brought it back. That was a really, really good win for them, and that moves them into 4th place. So a great start of the. They sacked Keith Curl. I wasn't sure if that was the right move, but fantastic since you can't argue. Next we go to Exeter, who I want to do well, as always. They have a couple of players that used to play for Hereford. They have Jimmy Oates, that's never involved, and then they have Dara O'Shea, who was on the bench. But 5-1 hammering of Notts County. So I think it's Pierre Sweeney. He opened the scoring. Jaden Stockley made it 2 just before 20 minutes, and it looked like Harry Kuehl's day was going to go from bad to worse. They did get one back before half time. Boldevine, he scored just before half time. At some point, the Harry Kuehl was sent off, and then Sweeney scored a penalty. Stockley got another one, and then Martin right at the end. So a cracking win for them, and that puts them still in the top 3. Notts County, they're still bottom, just 1 point on the opening day against Colchester. What's really concerning is already conceded 21 goals. That's 3 a game. That is absolutely insane. Crewe and Mansfield was postponed due to international call-ups. Forest Green got a draw with Port Vale. Carl Winchester opened the scoring, as he did. I think he opened the scoring against Grimsby. He certainly got one against Grimsby after 15 minutes. Tom Pope converted a penalty after 73 minutes, and then Rawson was sent off for his second bookable offence for Forest Green, but they held on for that point. Forest Green just outside the playoffs, a really, really good start for them. Just 2 wins, but 5 draws and 0 defeats, so they're still unbeaten, but they need to start turning those draws into wins if they want to be part of the playoff picture. Port Vale, 7 points, they're 17th. Not been the start they would want. They'd have wanted to have been further up the table, but I don't think they're going to be anywhere near the relegation zone. I think I went for the mid-table to top half. I think they will be fine. Next, we have a surprise result. Crawley going to Lincoln and winning. Boswick scoring their own goal on half-time. Stroke of half-time. Lee Fracklinson was sent off in the 55th minute. They brought on Reed. They brought on Menza. They tried to change the game, but they could not get anything. And Crawley win at Lincoln. Lincoln obviously top of the league. That's their first defeat of the season. 5 wins, 1 draw. They were going fine, but what a win that was. They did lose in midweek as well in the Checkatrade Trophy to Mansfield. So really not what they would have wanted. Just trying to find Crawley. They're 15th, so they're not doing too bad. They're not doing cutting up trees, but that's a cracking win. That is a way of really starting the season. Morecambe lost again. Really struggling for them. Adebayo scored the only goal of the game for Swindon after 26 minutes. Kyle Noyle. Yeah, I'm going to go with Noyle. I think that's right. 35 minutes and he got sent off. But for the first time, Swindon kept a clean sheet, and that puts them up into 7th place. 12 goals scored, 12 goals conceded. That is a ridiculous amount of goals to concede and be in 7th place. That is totally nuts. Morecambe, they're just outside the playoffs, just 3 points picked up, just that one win. So it's concerning for them. There's been some really poor teams so far this year. Morecambe and Macclesfield and Notts County are the bottom three. I expect Morecambe to go, maybe Macclesfield. I expect them to struggle after Askey went, and that's exactly what's happened. But I tell you, someone who's got a very, very important win today, and that is Cheltenham. Their second win of the season, and what a win this was. Boyle scoring in the first half. Van Veen equalised for Northampton, but a goal from Thomas, and then Mooney scoring in the 83rd minute to make it 3-1. Really good 3 points that. Just moves them away from the bottom pack, 3 or so. But yeah, really good win. Obviously, I think Michael Duff's taking over there. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. Russell Milton's been in charge. He's lost his last 3, but he's got a win right at the end. Next we go to Oldham and Newport. I believe Newport had a great start to the season. Yeah, they're in second place and a great win at Oldham. Obviously, Oldham are playing in League One last season, but Backinson scoring the only goal of the game 20 minutes before the end, and really, really good win. Michael Flynn did really well last season. They finished, I think they petered out and finished around mid-table after that draw with Tottenham, which is something very similar to Bristol City, where they played well, they were doing well, they were in the playoffs, and then they beat Manchester United, and then had those games against Manchester City, and then suddenly it all went a bit south for them. But yeah, really good start for Newport County on a budget as well. They'd be on a budget, I think, a small budget. Next, Stevenage beat Macclesfield. Macclesfield still without their first win. Danny Newton, the former Tamworth striker, with the only goal of the game, giving them the 3 points. Stevenage, they're in 11th place. I have somebody that likes Stevenage, Football Daily Talk. I think he supports Stevenage. So really, that leaves them just outside the playoffs with 11 points. And finally, we go to Tranmere and Colchester. 1-1 draw this. James Norwood scoring just before half-time. He's had an amazing start to the season. And then Harry Pell scoring after an hour to draw it up. Harry Pell is obviously from Essex, former Hereford player. So, yeah, decent point there. That leaves them both in around the playoffs. So Tranmere are 14th despite just being 2 points off the playoffs, and Colchester are currently 5th place. So good start by Colchester. Tranmere have done okay. Just looking at the goal scoring records, James Norwood's already banged in 7 goals. Absolutely insane. Coming obviously from the non-league into the Football League, and he has not missed a beat. So just to go through the league table, Lincoln are top with 16 points, followed by Newport County, who are on the same amount of points, but just +2 goal difference compared to the +9 of Lincoln. And then Exeter make up the 3rd spot. In the playoffs, we have Carlisle, Colchester, Milton Keynes, who did not play. Are they playing tomorrow? No. So that must have been postponed. And then Swindon, and then just outside we have Yeovil, Forest Green, Oldham and Stevenage on 11 points. At the bottom we have Notts County still just 1 point. It's been a terrible start, and I really do fear for them. Was not what I was expecting as well. 21 goals shipped. You can't. There's no excuses for that. Macclesfield have just 2 points and are really struggling, bless them. Mark Yates took over in the summer and he's not found a win yet. Certainly not in, he's won in the Carabao Cup but not in the league. Just outside we have Morecambe on 3 points, Grimsby on 5 points, Northampton on 6 points and Cambridge on 7 points. So the league is really tight. Obviously we've only played 7 games, but there seems to be a bottom sort of 8. So after that we have Cheltenham, Port Vale and Crewe. So there's 6 points between them, and then there's 3 points between them and the next side in 15th, which is Crawley, and then just 2 points until the playoffs, all the way into 5th. So it's really tight. There's 2 sides leading the way, and then there's not a lot between 3rd and 15th. There's only 3 points between that, and then we have the bottom sort of. There's like a bit of there could be 2, but some really teams struggling there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This will be more regular. I just didn't want to do it much, but yeah, I'm gonna try so I get my finger on the needle a little bit more, finger on the pulse or whatever, so I'm ready for to bring this back. So I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe this will be right after the fixtures end, I don't know, but feel free to get involved in the comments, like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. My name is Mike, and I will see you soon.